The reality of Canada's labor market is not what it seems. It's not a story of nobody wanting to work, nor is it a story of a booming economy. In fact, Canada's labor market is suffering from something else, and that thing is oversupply. In this video, I'll show you how Canada's relaxed immigration policies and powerful permits are playing a role in saturating the labor market. To do this, we'll look at the 4 programs used by immigration agencies, business, and foreigners to plug in quickly to Canada's labor market. These are the Temporary Foreign Worker Program, the International Mobility Program umbrella, the Postgraduate Work Program, and study permits. Each has played a unique role in shaping today's population growth and contributing to the market saturation in Canada. In just 1 year, from July 2022 to June 2023, Canada's population grew by 1.15 million, with international migration accounting for 98% of this growth. Furthermore, roughly 600,000 study permits were issued in just 2023 too. So this begs the question, how did all these people get here? And what happens when you have 50,000 plus people eligible for work in Canada when the nation loses more jobs than it creates each month? Well, you're experiencing it. Now, let's dig into the backdoor doorways for many to easily work and stay in Canada. Starting with the first culprit, the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. While it's not the worst culprit, it is rising in popularity as a way for employers to reduce cost and foreigners to jump into Canada's labor market. The TFWP started as a program to bolster the Canadian workforce when labor was scarce, such as in agricultural or home care fields. However, for the low price of $1,000 per application and a positive or neutral labor market impact assessment, a Canadian employer can get an indentured and hard-working TFW to work for them over a Canadian. While it would be an okay deal if the TFWP stayed in the confines of restricted roles, it's been broadened dramatically and is used as a way to migrate in multiple people quickly under the guise of a worker shortage. It's especially lucrative for Canadian employers who see it as a source of cheap labor access. The numbers of approved TFWP have been on the rise since 2019 and show no signs of slowing. Then there is Canada's International Mobility Programs. Think of the IMP as an umbrella term for a multitude of ways one can live, work, and study in Canada via various agreements, treaties, or directives the government put in place. Underneath the IMP umbrella, you have various options for getting into the Canadian workforce. While not all are exploited, some have a harsher impact on the job market saturation than others. IMP programs include workers covered by international trade or bilateral agreements. Some examples are working holiday visa or youth mobility visas, employees transferred within a multinational company, certain academic professions, charitable and religious workers, work permits for spouses or common law partners of skilled workers, work permits for spouses of students, postgraduate work program. These options see the most usage as they're a quick way to get into Canada's workforce without going through the regular channels. These are often referred to as Postgraduate Work Program, PGWP, and Spousal Common Law Partner Open Work Permit, SOWP. As you've been introduced to already, the Postgraduate Work Program is a key player in the rise of working-age population in Canada, and let me tell you why. The PGWP gives you an open work permit for the same length of your study period. That means that if you studied for 2 years in a shoddy journalism course, you can work for 2 years plus 90 days anywhere in Canada for any employer. This powerful permit also lets you bring your spouse or common law partner along too and gives them another work permit as well. However, as much as we like to point at the PGWP, it is by far not even the worst part of the loopholes to work and stay in Canada. For that, stay tuned for the next candidate. Last but not least, we have by far the worst offender of why you can't get a job in Canada. This is the Canadian Study Permit. Once a path to a Western education, they have now become a tool for diploma mills, which hand out offers of admission to their shady institutions like candy for a small fee. And let's unpack that. These places have become less about learning and more about tapping into a billion-dollar student trafficking business which has ballooned in Canada. In fact, Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada data revealed that there were a total of 579,075 study permits issued in 2023. That's around 50,000 people entering Canada a month with the ability to work to subsidize their studies. And let me explain how it works. Students are recruited overseas through an immigration consultant in their home country. Here, the consultant promises quick access to study and work in Canada and may hype up the offer by saying there's jobs, stability, and a pathway to riches or even citizenship. Each immigration peddler will have their own angle. The recruitee sees this opportunity or at least a chance to better themselves, not knowing how things are really on the ground in Canada. Then they're contacted to a storefront college in Canada. Here, they pay a fee for admission and in turn get dubious papers certifying that they are studying at an institution in Canada for which they use for their study permit application. When accepted, the foreign student often doesn't even study there, but may get some cursory courses about life in Canada. Before you know it, they start to work and live in Canada, sometimes taking multiple jobs out of necessity for our cost of living. And so, you multiply that by 550,000 each year, and we're here. The reason why finding a job in Canada has become so competitive. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, and there's increasingly been some pushback. In January 2024, the public outcry hit a tipping point, which made the Canadian government step in, capping study permits in an attempt to curb the exploitation and abuse of a system that was once respected. Despite what it seems, the real challenge in Canada's job market isn't a lack of willing workers, it's an oversupply of labor. For those finding it tough in the Canadian job market, your best bet may actually be looking beyond the borders. We've compiled the most Canadian-friendly destinations and developed a quiz to match you to them. All you have to do is fill it out by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. We look forward to shedding the light on the complexities of Canada's job market and immigration challenges. If you enjoyed, drop a thumbs up and subscribe to never miss a video.